Hello, everyone. I am the gentleman with the voices. This will be the second episode of Life Perspective. If you don't know what my Life Perspective videos are, it is different aspects on the world, the world in general. It could be art, it could be theater, it could be about love, different relationships, but the one today is going to be about doing the right thing, doing what is the right thing, and in general, being a good person. Now, again, these life perspectives are my personal perspective. If you're looking for a thought or an idea of some kind, you're more than welcome. Check it out, please. Bear with me. These videos are going to end up being a little bit on the longer side, but I don't hold back. This is always a first take. These videos will always be a first take. They'll always be they'll always be straight from here and from here. Always. And I promise you this. So when I say doing the right thing, you might be thinking, well, this guy did something for me. I'll do something in return. That's tip of the iceberg, man. Doing the right thing consists of so much more. It sounds really old school, but helping a little old lady cross the street. I know how wore out that probably sounds, but it's things like that. It's the things no one thinks about. It's the things that people overlook, and it's the things that people take for granted. Like I said, helping a little old lady across the street. It's more than looking like you're being helpful. It's you are taking the time to make sure that she's okay, that she's safe. Let's say, I don't know, you're in Boston or New York even, and this little old lady, she's got a walker, she's got a cane, and it's a really busy street, and you see her, and she's moving a little slower because she's a little up there in age. Take the time, try and help her get safely across the street. Some folks don't pay attention, and they'll get mad because they can't go at their pace, so they're going to be rude. But if you're helping it might dissuade people from being rude, mistakenly or not, and it'll make, and I can almost guarantee it'll make, like, it doesn't even have to just be an old lady, it can be an old gentleman as well. If you help them get safely across, it could very well be a very big deal for them. It's the small things. Okay. You could also, so let's say you work a job. It's not your normal 9 to 5. It could be a grocery store, it could be a restaurant. You come in when you're scheduled to be there, but the time comes, your shift is technically over, you've worked your scheduled hours, but you see that it's still really busy. You see that someone's called out or someone's not feeling good. You don't have to choose to stay, but to stay and help others, not because you feel guilty, not because you're earning a little bit more cash. To stay because someone's not feeling good, like, hey man, look, I'll stay a little bit longer. Why don't you go home? Why don't you get some rest? Or, hey, I can help get you guys out of the weeds a little bit. I'll stay a little bit longer, help you out, give you a little bit of space to breathe. When you do something like that, you are helping, and it doesn't seem like it's much. It's just, well, I mean, I really want to go home. I don't really want to be here. Nobody wants to work. But to take time that you don't have to be there to help for makes a world of difference. And people tend to respect you more for that. I find me as a person, if I see that I'm working somewhere and it's really busy, even if I'm told to do something, I will constantly look over and it's like, do you need a hand? Is there something I can do to help? Because if I'm needed here more, I'd rather be here. And it's not because I don't want to do whatever task I'm working on. It's because they genuinely are stuck. It could, like I said, it could be in a restaurant, it could be in a grocery store. It doesn't matter. There are different things and there are different circumstances. The things and the circumstances don't always balance out. So to take a little bit of extra time, it makes a difference. Maybe you're doing it for a little extra time on your paycheck. Maybe you're doing it because you know it is the right thing to do to help others. Helping others is a reward on its own. You don't have to choose to help out that person trying to cross the street. You don't have to choose to help that child find their parents. You don't have to return that wallet you just found on the street. You don't have to take the overchange when you got overchanged back into the store. You make these choices, and as small as they are, it defines who we are as people, and it defines who we can be, and it also defines how we treat others and how we ourselves have been treated. Typically, I find that if a person has been treated poorly growing up, they have the choice to make other people feel as horribly as they did, or they can make the choice to say, I don't want anyone to ever feel the way I felt. So instead of treating people the way I was treated, I am going to do the best I can to make sure they feel respected, make sure they feel appreciated, and most of all, make sure they feel worth it. It doesn't cost money to be a good person. It just costs a little time and a little love. The reward, if any, is knowing that you possibly helped somebody when there may very well have not been any help at all. We don't know what people deal with on a day-to-day. We don't know if someone had recently lost someone they loved. We don't know if someone lost a pet. We don't know if they're having a hard time. We don't know if they have to take medication just to function. We don't know people's stories. We don't know the trials that people go through. We don't know the pain that others feel. We can only do our best to understand. And by trying to take the effort to understand a person, can be done in the most simple of ways. A simple hi, how are you can make their day. If they respond, if if you see someone's having a hard time, you say hello, hi, how are you? Offer to help them out if they're struggling with something. If it's someone you know and you see they're having a hard time of it, try and help. Talk to them while you're helping out. It's like, hey, do you mind if I help you out? Help them out. Try and get to know them a little bit. And if you can, do what you can to help show them, okay, so have you tried doing this? Can I suggest you try that? Maybe even if the circumstances are right, go meet up for lunch or go meet up for coffee. Really get to know people. Really get to know what makes people tick. No one person is the same, because it's not just the trials and the stories of people, it's how a person thinks, it's how a person feels. We have to take that into account. And that, in and of itself, is being kind. We have to be patient with others. Even if all you want to do is scream in their face, you don't know what that person's dealing with. You don't know if they're in pain. You don't know if they even they even realize they're doing it. I'm a nice person. I'm a kind person. At least I think so. But I'm a very grumpy person. I'm the kind of person where if I'm having a bad day, you're going to know it, but I don't realize I'm doing it. And if I do, I'm typically pretty quiet because I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. I don't want to upset anyone because I don't know if they're having a bad day. I don't know what's going on. So, and that's another part of being a good person, is when you know you're not doing okay, you're showing restraint so others don't feed off of your own negative vibes. And I say vibes because I don't want to say energy, because then it sounds like I'm this self-help guru. I'm not. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a therapist of any kind. I'm just a person. I'm sharing my experience with you, whoever you may be. And that's the other thing too. Share your own experience with a person. You'd be surprised. You can connect with a person in ways that you might not even realize. You could get to know a person in ways that others don't. Making that first step, even if it's just to help, take a little burden off someone, having a conversation, trying to help someone improve. These things do not cost money. I know earlier, if you are still with me and earlier you thought I was just kind of rambling, I wasn't. Trust me, there's a method to the madness. And I mean, there is literal method to madness here. All of these things do not cost money. All these things cost is a little of your time given freely, a little bit of patience, a little bit of love, and of course, a little bit of honesty. And that's really what it comes down to, because being a good person is more than just being a good person to others. It's also about being good to yourself. And when I say being good to yourself, I don't mean indulging in comfort food and buying your favorite ice creams and cakes and sweets all the time. It's staying in bed maybe another 30 minutes. It's taking a nap during the day. Brew yourself a special pot of tea or a cup of coffee. Take some time. Just unwind, watch some Netflix, talk to a friend for a while, write a story, listen to some music, go to a museum, see some art. Things like that. Is you have to be a good person to yourself before you can be a good person to others. And I understand that that is a struggle. I struggle with that daily, and I'm well aware that I do. I'm not very good at I'm not good at asking for help. I'm not very good at taking care of myself. I'm not. I try, but I'm not very good at it. But when it comes to other people, it's all I want to do. Is I want to help other people. I want to help other people learn who they are. I want to help share my experience so you can see that the world is a dark place, but is always there's always someone that cares. There's always somebody that wants to help you. And it's not costing any money to do it. I'm doing it because I choose to, because I wish to be a good person. There is so much more to it than you could ever dream of. I could go on and on in this video for maybe another hour and still not touch on everything. Everything I have given are brief and simple examples. Being a good person doesn't have to cost money. Being a good person should never feel like a burden. And if it feels like a burden, you're not being a good person. You're doing something because you feel you're obligated to. It's not the same. Obligation and kindness are not the same. Kindness is honesty. Obligation is paid in some way, shape, or form. I do things because I choose to. I get up, I go to work, I do my job, and once my shift, the scheduled time of my shift is over, that's it. That's the end of the obligation. If I choose to come in before that or stay after that, that's kindness. I choose to come in early. I choose to stay late because I want to be as helpful as I can to the people I care about. The crew I work with, all I want to do. Because it's very stressful where I work right now. There's some pretty bad stuff going on. And we're all getting to get through it together because we take time, we talk to each other, we help each other out. We occasionally do like a small kind of potluck kind of thing just to kind of boost morale. We don't have to do these things. We choose to because we're kind. Kindness, it's hard not to respect someone that's kind. It's hard not to enjoy the company of someone that is kind, someone that is helpful and willing to just listen to what you have to say. That is genuine kindness. Being good and being kind are one and the same. Kindness and goodness is without reward. The only reward you should truly glean from that is knowing you made a difference in someone's life. And sometimes, if you're really lucky, it comes around. It really does. If you're really lucky, they will pass that same kindness you showed on to others. And I can only hope that the kindness I myself have shown to others, they have shown to others, and those others have shown to others. And it just goes. We can only hope for that. And that's why being a good person is such a rewarding thing. There aren't many things that bring me joy in this life. But knowing that my ability to be kind can bring a smile to someone for even a moment, that is the reward for me. So I'm hoping that, again, I could go on forever and I wouldn't even scratch the surface of kindness and being a good person. It is a pleasure to do the right thing. Being kind is a pleasure. Never burden. Never let it feel like a burden. It's hard to find that balance, especially when you're struggling yourself. But just to struggle on your own and still find that ability for kindness, that is beautiful. It is one of the most beautiful things on the planet. I think I've rambled long enough. I'm sorry it took me so long to get to the second episode. Again, the first one hasn't really gotten any hits, but I'm going to keep putting these out. I'm hoping that these videos reach people that need them. Maybe sharing my thoughts and my feelings, my perspective with others helps others to grow as well. But yeah. In the spirit of this video, be good to yourselves. Be kind to others. Make sure you have an amazing day.